Can you share us? What the thing is, they're like, why do we have to make it complicated? Wait, it says my mic is muted. Oh, I just left it.
Hello?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you. Mika, is that Mika?
It's Micah, yeah. What's going on? I don't think I know who you are.
I'm so confused. It's Iman from The Guardian?
Yeah.
Do I have the wrong Micah?
The Guardian. Which mic are you looking for?
Micah Alpen?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that's not me. I'm Micah Hauser.
I'm so sorry, Micah Hauser. Okay, I'm having a nightmare here. Welcome to this week's episode of A New Normal. We are back this week to talk about the future of work. There is a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear that people have around their jobs. So many people are still furloughed and not sure what's going to happen after that scheme ends. But elsewhere, there are questions to be asked about not just how we've had to change, but how we'd like to change in the future. So I did a call out and I asked you, our viewers, how your work has had to change, what you would like to maintain about your life now, and what your hopes are regarding the future of work. I find that working in an open plan office is distracting and difficult. I totally agree. So I am better able to concentrate on my work at home and get loads more done. I have an 8-month-old daughter and I cannot imagine any set of circumstances where a new father would get to spend this much time with their infant girl. I can't even imagine life at the same pace as I was living previously, and I don't want to go back to that. This person says, no, I hate working from home. I cannot wait to be back in the office, but that will not be before September. I have, however, managed to grow a full beard, which I like. As my hair is as long as it has been in 20 years, I shall be keeping both. Don't try and take away my beard. You've taken away my office, but you will not take away my beard. It's so British how many people have said, oh, if I could work from home, I'd get a dog. Or if I could work from home, I could spend more time with my dog. And I'm like, that's great. I mean, silver linings. After getting through all of the technical issues, I managed to get through to Micah Alpen, who works for Ernst & Young. He works in an area looking at kind of culture and the way HR works with employees and organisations, and he is an ideas guy. So I wanted to ask him what he makes of what's going on at the moment.
Hello.
Hi Micah. This series we've got called A New Normal is trying to project a little bit to the future. Working from home as we're experiencing it isn't necessarily how working from home always works.
If you think, before COVID, right, when people said work from home, they meant like, oh, I might go sit in, a coffee shop, or I might, go sit outside, and that's work from home. And there's no kids around, there's no other roommates around, and that's like the image we all have of work from home before COVID. And now, work from home is not that, right? There's kids around, there's your other roommates, there's, everybody's on calls in different rooms. The question is, how are we going to work with some people? Thank God this isn't like a live interview, huh? If we're thinking about the future of work, companies, we've been talking to are really trying to figure out, how are they going to work in this atmosphere where some people are still going to be at home and some people are going to be at the office, and those people might, go home, work from home, go back to the office, and vice versa throughout the time.
So from the call out, we reached out to a few people so we could speak to them about their specific situations. I spoke to Brian from Scotland, who before the lockdown was traveling internationally every week, and who in the last 3 to 4 months hasn't been further than 3 miles away from his house. Hi, Brian.
You get a bit of echo because I'm getting a wee bit of echo. I'm hearing you, but it's just not great.
Would you be able to explain what it was your work was like before and how that has changed because of the restrictions that have come into place?
The clients that I work with are everywhere from London, Barcelona, Paris, Amsterdam. The nature of the job means that I have to be travelling extensively, regularly. I mean, I come back from Brussels on the 6th of March. So that wasn't too long before lockdown. In terms of my actual work life, it's hardly been affected. In fact, if anything, I'd say far, far more productive now. I spend a lot of time now speaking to clients, obviously using video conferencing. We're working far more effectively. We've taken a lot of cost out of the business.
The whining and the dining and the travel and the lifestyle and all of that stuff, it seems to be something that you're happy to do without. Do you not kind of miss that a bit?
Listen, absolutely. But we don't need to do it all the time. And I think what it's making us do, and it's making not just us or me, it's making the clients also question, is this absolutely necessary?
The people who seem to have like the most control in their personal lives are really enjoying this. There is like a divide between people who have got kids and don't have kids, but there's also a divide generationally. We are two adults working 50+ hour weeks at home, plus trying our best to look after and homeschool our 6-year-old son. Usually a buoyant, happy-go-lucky child, he is showing signs of depression and anxiety that are not acceptable in my world. We are on our knees. I cry every day and my son's mental health and ours is deteriorating. They say, I hate it. I feel simultaneously like the worst parent in the world for neglecting my daughter and inadequate for not being able to cope with the stresses of my job. I really want to be like, you're not inadequate. I don't know you, but you're not inadequate. This is difficult. Our 12-year-old girl is not at school at all. Hers is closed. She does complete her schoolwork with little fuss, but leaving her out of bed to a mournful chorus of what's the point is becoming challenging. I mean, it's sometimes it's hard enough to get yourself out of bed. How do you get children out of bed? Like, can you imagine? If a child was like to me, what's the point? I'd be like, I don't know. I'm being honest. I'd be like, what is the point?
If I put my headphones on, my daughter just pulls them out because she wants me to listen to her. So I can't create my own little bubble in my head, which is what I do at work.
I spoke to Andrew, who has been on furlough for most of the time, but last week went back to work, about his situation and how it is working with his children at home. And I also spoke to Rochelle, who is from Australia and has a partner from South Africa. And together they've got a 3-year-old who they have been looking after while working continuously through the lockdown.
As much as possible, we did 2.5-hour rotations, 2.5 hours with our son and then 2.5 hours worth of work, and opposite shifts to each other from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. every day. We also tried to work in at least an hour for each of us not to be doing one of those two things.
Do you feel like you've had priorities realigned when it comes to work and family balance, or are you just kind of thinking about keeping a job?
To an extent, I'm just kind of focused on keeping a job because I know there's redundancies going on all over the place. If unemployment starts to last too long and I need to draw in pennies, I'll start doing freelance work just to bring in the money. But I prefer not to. I like having a division between home and work, if you know what I mean.
A lot of people I've spoken to have said that they miss elements of the office and the office environment. I completely respect that. I think there's a lot of privilege that goes around the idea that you can work from home. I am lucky enough to have a work from home environment in which I can shut a door and have a secluded space. You know, some people have a spare room, some people have a bed in a shared room. This isn't really being addressed. So to address the disparity of what's available in a home environment, I think is something we need to get to.
Those of us who are stuck in poor quality shared accommodation with no access to proper office space have not had a good time working off ironing boards and cardboard boxes in our bedrooms. I have been hit by Zoom fatigue. I haven't been able to sleep, partially because I am less active during the day, but also because my workspace and my life space have no separation. I think the sad thing is that this is one of the best case scenarios. I still have my income. I am not in danger of being homeless or going hungry or suffering violence from a partner, and at least I get on with the people that I'm living with. Yet, even if this is the best of scenarios, this is miserable. I think that's a really powerful and clear explanation of how so many people, but particularly so many young people living in cities, are kind of struggling with this. I do think that there are people that are struggling that are not wanting to tell their employers that they're struggling, or not wanting to tell the people around them that they're struggling, because there's that thing of, like this person says here, like, I feel like I'm lucky. I feel like I've got everything I need, but I'm miserable.
I think managers are going to have to really lead and manage differently. They need to be checking in with people more, see, how they're doing, making sure they're connected, asking them, what can I do for you? How can I help you be, with your motivation, with your productivity?
I kind of see that as like a really big part of what managing should have been anyway.
Agreed. Yes, there's some challenges right now, but hopefully we'll learn from this and we'll be able to improve the experience that employees have in our organization. and not just revert back and say, okay, it's over. Let's go back to being, micromanaging, to being bureaucratic, to not, giving our people space to, to think and innovate. So that's my hope.
This is an extremely difficult time, and this episode has been kind of tricky to hit, I guess, the right tone, knowing what the context is outside and how different everyone's experiences are at the moment. But I guess what this video is trying to do is look at the fact that for those people who are still in work, or those people looking for work, we are readdressing what our priorities are and what it is that we want to see in the future when it comes to employment, and what it is that we want to leave in the past. So the next episode we've got coming up is about travel and the environment, following on a little bit from what Brian was saying. And that will be coming out very soon. So make sure that you do like, comment and subscribe to stay up to date with everything that we're doing in this series.